Hey, what's going on everybody? This is G The Hypersapien, and in this video we're going to take a look at Artel W's Skawt and Rekkon Skwad. Now the Skawt and Rekkon Skwad comes with 5 lads. You get 6 lads if you add a commander. Also, I've got Morggoth the Mozzt Kunnin, but we'll bust these open and we'll have a look. Artel W has put each orc in an individual bag. This makes my life so much easier. I'm going to love reviewing this and not have to dig through a pile to find out what's what. So we'll push some to the side and we'll do one at a time. So we'll take a look at the first lad. This comes with a bit of scenic terrain, this one. So obviously that goes in the base and it's kind of a piece of wall. You can see these metal supports coming up really nice. It's all damaged and beaten up. You can see that a shell or a bomb or something's hit that. Now this is the body of the orc. Now these orcs are quite tallish. They're quite upright. They look quite cunning. He has a stitched up bag here with a grenade coming out. Really nice trousers. Lovely detail in the folds. You see that he has some hobnail boots, steel capped boots. Another little pouch here. Crisp sculpt, really nice. The cast is just perfect. Look at that, that is just lovely. These grenades on these straps here so he can just pull them off as he wants. You can see I have to remove the peg off the arm. And also it's quite close to that triangle piece, so you need to be careful where you clip it. I love the veins coming up his wrist here. The fingers, so much detail though, look at that. Just really crisp. This is just amazing for resin. It's next level. This is the other arm here, so you have to take the peg off. Also it's quite nice, it has this hole on the hand here. So this is obviously where the weapon slides into. Now my best guess is they've done it this way so the weapon doesn't snap off. So they can kind of cast it separately and let you glue it on when you're ready. You can see the veins coming up the orc's arm though, looks really nice. And that goes in, must go something like this, so he's holding this grenade. Orc's face, you have a peg on the back to take off. Really small face, but so much detail is packed into that. You can even see the nose is picked out, all the texture and all the wrinkles on the face. Really nice, I love this hat that it's wearing as well. All the little detail, how small that skull is but how crisp it is. Attached to the side of the orc somewhere, you can see this little strap here, most likely goes on its belt. Yeah, that's really nice. Moving on to the next orc. So this orc has a bit of a different outfit to the last one. It's more like a ninja in a way. Ninja turtle, ninja looking shoes on. That looks really cool how it's separating the toes. It's a bit of a cuff around it, this sort of metal with spike on it. Where the trousers meet the shoe, you have this cuff as well. You see this patch this part up. Really sort of ninja look to it, which I love. Like the way that belt is, it's kind of like a karate belt. See the chest with a bit of a collarbone. But yeah, this one kind of reminds me of Raphael or something like that. So we'll take a look at the arm. He has this dagger, he has a bit of a knuckle duster. These gloves look really nice. Obviously, like all of them, the muscles are really detailed. You even get under his elbow, this texture here, these lines. He has this wire or rope wrapped around him. Yeah, those gloves are really nice though. Looks like fingerless gloves. Artel's orcs don't really have claws, they have more fingernails, which is interesting. Bit of clean up here where the support is, just like most of them. On second arm, it has this rope, so carrying on that ninja theme, he has some rope so he can climb up a wall. Infiltrate, assassin style. Remove the peg. Again, it's got the glove with a bit of a knuckle duster around it and the ropey part around. Also comes with a gun. I guess this just attaches to its belt. It looks like a silencer though on this gun, bit of a scope. Really nice though. Different gun style to the last one, but also the weapon has the hole just like the last one did, and that has this part, this grapple part. quite interesting. So it's kind of like that. So he's ready to shoot, grapple, climb up a wall. But the grapple itself looks really nice. You see it has a bit of a mold line going down here and under the pole there. So a little bit of cleanup, but these models have hardly any cleanup. Oh yeah, it's got another line going down here. So just a hobby knife just to clear that up, just gently scrape that. No issues. These sculpts are really crisp and really clean though. Absolutely love Artel stuff. Then he comes with a big bag of gubbins. So he has a bomb here. The straps are really nice. Has this bit of a chain going around here as well. Goes on the back. Now I've noticed they have these numbers. So all of these have number 4. So they must be numbered. So this must be lad number 4. I didn't quite pick up what the last one was. But they're obviously numbered. That's good if you do mix these up somehow. It's probably numbered so you can kind of work out what's what. But obviously the bag goes up this way. The lines on the back, so that just lines up with the straps on his back. And you can see it just fits on really nicely, really snug. Not much movement, obviously need to glue it though. Then you have the face. How good is that? It's just like a ninja orc with his ears hanging out, a little bit of his face and eyes. But I love that, absolutely love it. He's great. He's great, isn't he? Okay, so we'll move on to the next orc. What do we have here? Now this one looks quite savage, obviously less clothing on. He has these little throwing knives here, really cool. Look at all the muscle and texture on his chest. Again, this one has different feet, different shoes and different straps around him. Has a little skull, gotta have an orc skull. You can see this is number 5 by the look of it. Has this orc glyph here. Gotta have your orc skulls. Yeah, so this is piece 5. So it's nice if you do lose these or muddle them all up. You can go by this. So yeah, this one has a bit more of a barbarian look. Obviously it's still quite tech savvy, but he sort of has this sort of primitive barbarian look to him. He has obviously a bit of a cloth. Just the way his armor and his clothing is. Kind of reminds me of sort of Conan. Look at all the muscles though, he's ripped as. So this one's in obviously a jumping sort of pose, which is really cool. So they're all really unique, really different. They all have a sort of different vibe. So they're quite individualized, which I like. How they're all individual, gives them a really different character each one. So this one comes with a scenic base as well. Obviously you take off the peg, it's a bit of a clean up here as well. I have to remove the peg off his foot here as well, but no doubt this is the rock that he's sort of jumping off. Really adds some flavour and some character to him. We'll move on to the weapon. This one has his knife, but it looks like he's ready to stab that knife into someone's back or whatever. So you can see that he's running, jumping, about to stab that knife into someone. So he stalked someone all the way until he's ready to jump and stab him like a true assassin. Again, this one has different gloves. They're almost not really even gloves anyway. They're just these armor plates that are strapped on. You have this strap that goes around. So we'll move on to the other weapon. This is a bit of a support that you need to take off. And then not quite sure what's going on here. The cast isn't the best here. The cast isn't the strongest here, to be honest. Need to take all of that off though. So might have to contact them about that, but shouldn't be an issue though. Once I take it off it should fit. But I just have to review it as it is and be honest. But so far no issues really besides this. Just looks like the peg sort of slipped a little bit. This one comes with another leg. Obviously the body didn't have that extra leg. So that's going to go on here. So it tucks in quite nicely. You can see that he's sort of jumping, has that leg ready to land. Weapon again, it kind of looks like a tomahawk or just an axe. Yet again, nice little details. These skulls are really crisp for how small they are. So this looks like wood grain as well. You can see some texture on it. Also he comes with this really techie looking mine. This bomb, like he would just throw it and slide and obviously do its work, or attach it to a wall. Looks like it's got all wires and little bits and pieces. Look at that face screaming. Love it. Headband. I love how it's just flying in the winds though, so it gives the model so much motion. The next orc. So he's number 2. So I realised the first one we looked at was orc number 1. So we have 2 and orc number 3 left. This one looks like he's walking. Really love that. So again, different. He has really crisp boots, this one. And he has the trousers. Has all these straps going on around him. Kind of looks like something Rob Liefeld would draw. All these straps. Like Deadpool and Cable with all these belts and straps. You can see the chest and the rib cage. But yeah, lots of straps and pouches. You see the spine going up on this one. But yeah, I love the movement to these. The posing is great. The line going up this one, obviously you need to remove the peg. A lot of the details carry on through all the miniatures. Obviously has the veins and the really staunch muscles. Really love how this one has a watch on it. Has a watch. And I really like the gloves as well. And the knuckles coming through on the glove. This pistol looks really nice as well. Positioning of the fingers, they're really crisp as well. Really crisp fingers. You can see one's on the trigger. And then obviously the rest are holding it. And also their orcs only have 4 fingers. They just really kind of remind me of Ninja Turtles, these ones. The other arm, a peg again. He has a ammo belt. He has an ammo belt wrapped around him, wrapped around his bicep. It's really nice though. Bag of goodies as well, dynamite sticks, has a shovel. There's another grenade here. So it'll be this way up, but again you can see grooves in the back where it's going to line up with this. So yeah, that fits on really nicely. And then obviously you have the head. This one looks really techy, like a demolition guy, demolition expert. It's crazy looking goggles with all these different eyepieces. It's like a fingernail. These heads are tiny, but just so much detail cram packed into them. Okay, so we'll look at the next orc. Yet again, different looking armour, different looking clothing, dog tags. The boots are a little bit similar to the last. Boots going into trousers. He's wearing a vest or a singlet. Also he has some armour pads here. You can see there's a little bit of a peg here on his loincloth. Yeah, pouches again. So his bag has a knife, a rope, a bomb, all the good stuff, pouches. You see it's stitched up here. But I thought I'd show this first so we can see what it looks like on his back. I'll probably do an update of these when they're all built and glued together just so you can kind of see them a little bit better. So that's really nice though. So you can see that this little part here is probably where a foot or something goes, the heel to one of his boots. It's probably like this. You can almost see a foot here and a foot here, so he's probably standing on it like this. So it's hard to do with the pegs, but yeah, he's probably like that almost. If you can see. So this one has almost like a hockey or a sports shoulder pad. You've got this orc symbol with a couple of axes on it though, which will probably tell you what they're kind of representing in a way. Peg here, there's elbow guard as well, gloves, fingerless gloves, and then this is obviously where the gun goes into. You're going to have to remove, it looks like there's a bit of a peg here, it doesn't fit like that, it'd be a bit lower on the orc. Similar gun to like some of the other ones. Looks like the scope's different. You have this top one here as well. Looks like the scope's placed a little bit different. You have this top one here. Then you have his other arm, he has this nice brace going around it. Fingerless glove, horn a little bit on this one. Yeah, he's got a dagger as well. Really like this one's face, I like his goggles that are up over his head. It reminds me of Baird from Gears of War. Always wears his goggles up on his head. He has a little earring as well. That's a really nice orc though. Okay, so that was the Artel W Skawt and Rekkon Skwad 5 miniatures. But now we'll take a look at the commander for the Skawt and Rekkon crew. So you can buy him separately, or you can add him to your squad. So he's obviously a little bit bigger. So he's a bit of a chunky boy, he looks a little bit more fatter, a little bit more staunch. Just like the rest, he has all these belts and straps around him, these little pouches. Shirt here is torn a little bit, you can see one side's nice, one side's torn. Obviously it's going to be hard with the peg again, but yeah, he goes onto the body. You can tell he's a little bit more bigger. So this is his legs look really nice. Really like the trousers, like these knee guards, they're almost like jaw plates. He has these hobnail or steel cap toes, and they're like little dags going around, really nice. Obviously something goes on his hip here because you have a bit of a triangle slot there. See, he's got a mould line going under his legs and through to his feet here. It's best for me to remove it, and people that are really fussy gets, because I hate it when I miss stuff like that and then when I go to paint. But also he has this part here where a loincloth or something must go. You can see it's a little slot there. So this must go here. Sorry, my fingers are probably in the way. But it's basically this skull belt buckle. So we'll look at it separately here. Looks like you've got to remove this little bit of a tag here, but yeah, it's nice. We'll take a look at his bag. So he has a lot going on. He has this knife. Looks like he's got a sleeping bag there. You know, he's probably the only one that sleeps while everyone else takes watch. You know, the commander's got to have his beauty sleep. Love the bombs on the back here. Yet again, this is nicely engraved where it's going to go onto his back. So you can see that he has these two straps here and then one that goes there. But yeah, these just fit really nice and flush. Like once it's on, it's almost not going anywhere. So the boss comes with a boss claw, looks really nice. This piece as well that goes in. So you get that separately. Sort of the thumb of the claw. Really lovely details though. The wires coming up. And some dags and some armor plates on his shoulder pad there. So this Orc Commander, you get a arm piece here. And then it attaches to the hand, so they have the peg again in the way, but obviously the whole arm isn't together. You have to put it together yourself. So the arm's kind of basic, but also really detailed. Onto the gun here, really nice. This is a nice big gun. Just loved how crisp the detail on the fingers are, the nails. You can even see the lines and textures in the fingers. So he has this pouch, that must be, that goes on his hip here. You can see that it goes there. It's kind of nice that these do come separate, because you could clean it all up and like paint that separately. Just so you can put a lot of time and effort into just the pouch. So you can paint them up and then glue it on. It has this bomb as well. Not sure where that goes. So this one comes with a bit of a mask. So kind of like it over his face as well. It has this really goofy look to it. But that's kind of funny. It isn't goofy in a cool way. Like you see that coming at you. But it's a vicious orc underneath. I just like how the orcs, the eyes are a little bit different. On the mask I mean. Like they're a little bit different size. It's a little bit mismatched. So it gives that sort of goofy comical sort of look to it. But obviously you don't want to be laughing when this git comes at you. Love that. Love his cigar. Yeah, that's a great commander. That's a great commander, love it. But now last, but definitely not least, we have Morggoth the Mozzt Kunnin. So he's a separate model. Obviously he fits in with this squad, but he is a separate model. He's quite slender, I guess because he's more cunning than brutal. The commander seemed a bit more brutal, like quite staunch and muscly. Seems a bit more slender. So yeah, he's, as I mentioned, he's quite slender, quite tall, skinny-ish. His trousers have this nice strip going down it. It's quite patched up as well. He's got a patch here. He's got a stitched up patch here. A little bit here as well. So it gives you the impression that he's out in war so often that when he gets ripped and his clothing gets torn, he just sort of patches it up with whatever is available. I love how he has this animal pelt on him as well, obviously to sort of blend in with the environment. But it also gives him quite a unique look. You know, he has all these straps just like the rest of the squad. It's quite different though. So his straps have a lot more detail, studs on them, and obviously bullets and stuff. So may as well have a look at the other leg while we're here. So yeah, he's sort of perched up with this leg. As you can see, he's sort of perched up with this leg here. It fits in really nice though. It just slides in nice. Obviously again, got to remove the pegs. A few patches on him, stitched up. But yeah, I like the pose of him. He looks quite menacing, quite cunning. Bit of a scenic base as well. Skull. The sort of metal girders or rocks and a couple of pegs to remove. It has a little triangle on there, so don't remove this little triangle under his foot because it looks like it goes here. To go this way because it's hanging off this way too much. So it's standing there and the tip of his foot must be on the skull. Just have to remove that peg. It probably balances on that skull. He's going to have a sniper, I'm guessing. This would fit on here. These pegs get in the way when I review. Obviously I don't have to tell you really to remove them, or some people might not be aware if you're a sort of beginner, but yeah, these pegs obviously you remove. But I like to review them before they're built so you can see what you get when you buy it, how they come. We'll take a look at the front of the gun though. Nice texture, nice details. Awesome. You see the gun's rested on his arm there. Little pegs to come off. It's got a bit of a scar, it looks like scar tissue on his arm there. Now I quite like his gloves. Looks like they're stitched up. So he's quite a tall, slender guy, but his fingers are even smaller than the rest of the squad, so he's got quite small, little tiny hands, little tiny fingers. Like all the rest of the squads, their fingers and hands are a lot bigger than that. We have his other arm. This one he has quite dainty little fingers. Well, they're barely even there. You can barely see his fingernails. On the thumb you can, but the rest of them not so much. So I don't know if you'll use all of these accessories or if some are spare, but he has this knife. You can see it has a little bit of a triangle there, so it must go on his hip. Or we go back and look at the body. He has triangle, maybe a bit of a square here and triangle, so it looks like a lot of stuff will be hanging off him. That one. Then there's this bomb. Looks like that goes on his hip as well, or his waist. Looks like that's a bit more of the gun. There's this little pistol. So again, maybe you can choose what you put on him. Another grenade. So this is definitely a scope. So this is either going to go on the rifle or on that pistol. Probably a bayonet, this one. I'd say that goes onto the gun. So yeah, I'd say that this one most likely goes sort of there. Obviously take off the peg, most likely goes under the gun. Now if you look really closely, you don't want to remove this little triangle piece. I'm not sure if you can see it, not sure if the camera will pick it up, but you can see as well here, there's this little triangle under the gun, and then obviously a little triangle on the bayonet part, so that's going to fit into here. Obviously the peg gets in the way again, but it's nice to have that little bit of a support just to help it stick in place. Comes with two different head options, which is nice. They actually look quite similar, which is kind of cool. So obviously you can tell it's the same orc. They're identical, the ears, the way the teeth are, the way the eyes, it's just identical. Like each orc kind of has a different look to them, which is kind of crazy. Each orc is, obviously you can tell it's an orc, but they all look quite different as well. That's definitely exactly the same sculpt, which is really cool. Obviously it's the same character. And then you have this plate that comes down over it. So I love how it's got like a smiley face, but it kind of looks like a marine, like a guard, like taking the piss out of marines, like humans. You can see that it's sort of military. It's got a bit of a human decoration on it. We all know what it's trying to represent. I'm not going to say it though. It's obviously sort of taking the mick out of humies. You can see its helmet on. It's got the Aquila, and it's a smiley face, so it's sort of like, oh, humans are so nice and I'm just a human. I love that little comical, I love that little comedic aspect. It's sort of, oh, humans are so nice, I'll blend in, I'm just a nice human, and then it's a big ugly orc underneath. My review for Artel W's Skawt and Rekkon Skwad. So you get 5 lads, I added the commander, and then obviously I had to show you Morggoth the Mozzt Kunnin. So basically you get 6, so you get 6 lads with the commander, and then you obviously get the sniper or the character Morggoth the Mozzt Kunnin. But I hope you enjoyed that review. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. But this was G The Hypersapien, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.